Uh, Let me see if I can pull up the count as well. Okay. Good evening, all. Thank you for joining on what is it today? A Monday. Okay. Thank you all for joining on a Monday evening. I know it's gonna be hard for all of you coming from either your colleges or from your work and attending this wonderful session by iSchool Connect and University of Sydney together. So meanwhile, till we wait for your fellow colleagues to join, please punch in your city name in the chat section so that we get to understand where you're from. So use the chat section. Tell us where you're from. Which city are you joining us from, so that we can actually understand where you're from. And we'll be starting soon in another 1 or 2 minutes. Perfect. Okay, we have people joining in from multiple destinations across India. So across India, as well as I see a few people joining us from multiple other locations as well. So we have people from Mysuru. We have a friend of ours joining from Qatar. Then we have Bhatinda, Sangli, Pakistan, Mysuru again. A friend of ours has joined from Nigeria, Victor. Okay, welcome, Victor. Then we have Kunal, we have Khushbu from Assam. Okay, we have a friend from Pakistan as well. Welcome. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to have you all joining in from multiple locations across the globe. And we promise you one thing, it's going to be a very interactive, very joyful, very fun kind of a session. Plus, of course, it's going to be informative because we have our wonderful rep joining in from University of Sydney. Okay. Cool. We'll be starting in another 2 minutes. Meanwhile, if you have specific questions or specific things that you want to ask, please feel free to use the Q&A section in Zoom, so that we'll be able to understand what specific questions you have, and which we'll be addressing towards the end of the session today, right? Okay, let's get started. Let me share my screen. So this session will of course be discussing why Australia as a study abroad destination is important. What does it take to study in Australia? So we'll be discussing all about studying in Australia. And we have our wonderful rep, Jayashree Nandgopal, joining in from University of Sydney. Hi, Jayashree.
Hello, Vaibhav. Wonderful evening in Delhi.
Absolutely.
Surprised to see this weather in Delhi.
Correct. It's been pouring heavily since morning, and the temperatures have dipped. Not a typical May weather in New Delhi, India, where we are joining, where both of us are joining. So just a brief background about Jayashree. Jayashree is Senior Recruitment Advisor with University of Sydney. She has multiple years of experience helping thousands of students across the globe, such as yourself, get into top universities across Australia. And she's part of University of Sydney. She has again helped hundreds of students get into University of Sydney, wherein she acts as a bridge between you and the universities. So we'll of course be hearing a lot about University of Sydney and Australia as a destination from Jayashree, right? Okay. So few things that we'll be covering. Of course, we'll be covering some statistics on top study abroad destinations for Indian students. We'll, of course, be covering a standard kind of a roadmap for studying abroad, right? We'll be discussing why you should actually choose Australia as a study abroad destination. Jayashree will, of course, be sharing a lot of information on why studying in Australia is important, right? She'll also be sharing some key insights of why University of Sydney is a great institution to study, and why thousands of students across the globe choose University of Sydney as a destination. She'll be, of course, sharing some application tips, cost and scholarships, and then, of course, we'll be taking all those wonderful questions that all of you students who have joined us today have regarding Australia and University of Sydney. So shall we get started, Jayashree? Perfect. Okay. So key statistics about international students who want to study abroad, right? There's a tough competition going on between Canada and USA as a destination. So this number, what you see over here, is a tough fight between USA and Canada. So for a lot of Indian students, they see a lot of mobility between USA and Canada. There's a lot of students. If you look at the preferred destinations, again, after USA and Canada, there's again a tough competition between Australia and UK as the third most preferred destination, right? So Australia, UK, they foresee a lot of students, inbound students from India, and similarly from different parts of the globe as well. Next, we have a lot of students flowing into Germany and New Zealand from India, right? So again, a very preferred destination post UK is New Zealand and Germany, then of course Ireland, Singapore, and Spain. So this will actually give you a sense of what basically are those major key preferred destinations across Indian students or students from the Southeast Asian geography as a whole, right? If you're new to the concept of studying abroad, or if you're curious how much time or what does it take for me as a student to prepare or to study abroad, on an average, it takes about roughly 10 to 12 months to actually prepare for studying abroad, and what you see on your screen are basically steps that are involved in that entire study abroad process, right? So you basically start your research about universities, colleges, at least 12 months in advance, wherein subsequently you prepare for your test scores, be it your IELTS, your TOEFL, or your GRE, GMAT in case it's required, or if you are an undergrad aspirant, your 12th score standard, your SAT scores, right? Simultaneously, once you have started preparing for that, you also collate your documents, which includes your mark sheets, your transcripts, all of that. By about 9 months in hand, you kickstart your university applications. By this time, you should have your documents ready. You should almost have your test scores ready. You should have your initial short list of universities also ready with you. Okay. Then subsequently, you prepare for your essays, your SOPs, your LORs, your draft resumes. With almost 6 months in hand, you should actually try and submit your applications. That's very important. Submitting your applications well within those time, so that again, university folks also require a good amount of time to understand your application, your intent towards studying at that specific university. So be very sure when you are about your university application deadlines. Subsequently, yeah, you relax, you monitor your application results. If you're interested in, if you're taking education loans, then of course be cognizant that you have to apply for your education loan at the appropriate time. Then your student visas, then you book your flight tickets, and then you're right on time to jump into a plane and reach your study abroad destinations. Jeshri, do you feel this timeline of sorts makes sense? Do you feel that something needs to move, or do you feel that any of these key months is important over here?
It's absolutely key to plan everything early so that you don't have that last minute panic, especially,
Yes.
and every step is so important to put your documentation in place, put your application. Universities will also take on an average of 3 to 5 weeks or 6 weeks to come back to you, depending on the course. And then you
Precisely.
can, plan your logistics, especially post COVID. The trend that we've seen is that everyone wants to stay on campus or
Yeah,
nearby, so that you have that sense of security, and you feel more safe because there's more services or facilities available. So, and one of the things which is more challenging is to get admissions is not so difficult, but to get an accommodation is challenging. Keeping that
absolutely.
in mind, it's essential that you plan it at least 9 to 12 months prior, so that you have everything in place, and then you can just get set go.
Absolutely. No, very rightly said. Universities making sure your application deadlines, you have that clear vision about application deadlines, as well as you rightly mentioned, accommodation can be a challenge. So the early you apply, the early you start searching for your accommodation, that gives you an advantage over other candidates in finding the right place for yourself to stay. Right. So again, so all the aspirants who have joined us today, please feel free to use the chat section and tell us which stage of your study abroad journey are you in? Are you just researching? Are you preparing for your test scores? Have you already started your applications for the next nearest intake, which is the January, which is the winter intake for next 2024? Or you already have an admit? Which stage are you in? Okay, so we have already see a lot of responses, Jayashri. A lot of students are saying that they are still researching. Nikhil says that he's preparing for his PTE. Okay, wonderful. So Ankita says researching. Ari says researching. That actually gives us a lot of understanding where a lot of our candidates are, right? They're still in that researching phase. So it's great time for you to attend this webinar and try and understand what next steps you should actually take in order to successfully enroll in an Australian university. Okay. Studying BSc, pursuing MBA, preparing for MSc. Awesome. Thank you so much, all. Okay, so jumping right in, Australia as a study abroad destination has over 43 universities and colleges, and several of them are top tier, top ranked universities across the globe. And of course, Jayashri will be talking about that in heavy detail. But what aligns or what makes Australia a great destination is all of these points, and why you as aspirants should consider Australia as a destination. Look at the long list that is there. Okay. Australian universities tend to have excellent reputation across the globe. As I mentioned, right, they have some great ranked universities, not only in Australia, but across across the globe. There are certain great opportunities, not only in terms of research, but also in terms of post-study work. Okay, if you are looking for a great career, which is high paying, Australia offers some great options for you, right? Universities have great facilities on board that can actually support you in terms of whatever. If you are interested in sports, if you're interested in research, if you're interested in just simply having a good time at the institution, Australian universities are fabulous in doing that, right? Australia offers a wide range of scholarships, and Jayashree, of course, will be covering a lot of those aspects, because finances tend to remain a very important aspect, right? Unique courses, defined curriculum. Australia as a destination foresees a lot of inbound students from India, Southeast Asia, and other destinations as well. That results in low cultural shock. Okay, various training and research opportunities available, high ROI in compared to a lot of other destinations as well, right? And some cutting edge technology, so a lot of research, a lot of inclination towards business and STEM programs. Those make Australia a great destination. Perhaps, Jayashree, I thought this can be a great segue into discussing why Australia and why University of Sydney. So would like to hand over you the baton now, so that you can actually talk to our participants over here and discuss why Australia is a great destination.
Sure. Thank you so much, Weber. Thank you for the warm introduction. I'll quickly share my screen.
Sure.
Thank you. You can view this.
Yes, we can.
So a very good evening to everyone who've joined us from across the India and across the globe as well, because I saw quite a few students joining from other parts of the world. Before we get started understanding about how Australia is, about University of Sydney, I'd like to talk about what Australia has to offer as a study destination, because students usually, perceive US or UK or Canada as the top destinations to study abroad. But Australia has some amazing opportunities. It is always touted as the land of opportunities as well. To get started, Australia has an outstanding higher education system with over 22,000 courses on offer across 1,100 institutions. 6 out of the 43 universities in Australia feature in the top 100 worldwide ranking. 7 of the best student cities in the world are from Australia. So it shows the quality of living, the quality of education offered there. Considering that we only have 43 universities, unlike US, which has close to 2,000 universities.
Correct.
The Australian government has invested a great deal, close to 300 million in scholarships for international students. So out of the 43 universities, majority of them are public-run universities, so they're funded directly by the government. Our universities rank in the top 50 world ranking as well, in not only as an overall university, but also in range of study areas that we have to offer. And Australia's processes or protocols are fairly, very standardized. So there's not much of loophole which causes any issue in an erratic change of the processes or erratic change of any kind of student visa changes. So there is this SOS Act and Frame, which is the Education Services for Overseas Students. This framework enforces, by law, the best practice for protecting international student rights. So everything is black and white in Australia. This really, I think, sometimes people say that it's challenging or the Australian visa regulations are a bit too stringy, which I feel is good, so that we believe in recruiting, quality students and giving back quality, global citizens to the world as well. 30% of Australians are born overseas. So this is an amazing fun fact. This goes on to show how diverse Australia is in terms of the different nationalities and cultures that have settled down in our land from all over the world. Moving on to talk about University of Sydney. Just give me. Yes. So a quick introduction about University of Sydney. University of Sydney is a public run university, public funded university. It's Australia's first university. We were founded way back in 1850, and we were modeled on lines of Oxford and Cambridge. So if you see, a lot of our architecture is also quite Victorian or has this old world charm to it. We're currently ranked 41st in the world. So out of 22,000 universities across the world, we're ranked amongst top 50. This is a QS 2023 World Universities ranking. QS has also ranked 28 of our subjects in the top 50 ranking globally. And we have many scholarships on offer, which amounts up to around 300 plus scholarships. Sydney is also very proud to have had an amazing set of alumni who have graduated from us. So we're proud to say that the best and the brightest of the minds have lived here. We have taught 8 prime ministers for Australia. The current Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is also a Sydney alumnus. We have 2 Nobel laureates, 3 astronauts, 110 Rhodes Scholars, a Pulitzer Prize winner, and 145 Olympians. A bit of fun fact here would also be that the last Olympics, the number of medals that India as a country won, same number of medals. Sydney students who participated or represented Australia from Sydney University also won the same number of medals. So one is, yes, of course, Australia is a sports fanatic country, but that reflects in the quality and the infrastructure that we offer for sporting facilities as well.
Those are some pretty impressive statistics, Jayashree. I wasn't aware that 8 Australian prime ministers have studied at University of Sydney.
So most of them are from the Faculty of Arts and Social Science or Law. So when you walk down the the building, you can see a lot of the photos put up.
Wonderful. And 145 Olympians. That actually shows the level of diversity and the focus on sports apart from academics as well. So that's really impressive.
Absolutely. One of the things that I am really very proud of is that the community that we have, the family that we have back in Sydney. So you have 145 nationalities, 70,000 students on campus, which includes 25,000 students who are international, 8,500 staff, and now inching towards 400,000 global alumni as well. So it's a huge network of global citizens that you get to be a part of. The tribe is growing. This is an aerial view of Sydney City, a beautiful coastal city. You can see how green it is. And our campus is located in a suburb called as Camperdown or Darlington. This is roughly 10-12 minutes away from the city center. So if I take the city center as the CBD or somewhere near the Opera House, then it should take around 12 minutes to reach the campus. Sydney is very similar to how Mumbai is. I was raised in Mumbai, so I try to draw a lot of similarities in terms of the amazing public transport connectivity, which is there. You don't find it very difficult to navigate through. It's a coastal city, and it's very well. I mean, the population-wise also, it's strong. Unlike other cities where you find it very scarcely populated, so it's more buzzing, it's more lively, and it has a strong, diaspora of South Asian or Southeast Asian people as well. And just a bit of snapshots. So we are ranked first in Australia and 4th in the world for graduate employability. So QS does different parameters for ranking. One of them is the overall university ranking. Then you have subject-specific ranking, research ranking, and employability ranking. So very proud to say that to be ranked 4th in the world for graduate employability, I'm pretty sure that we're doing something right so that our students get placed very highly or are touted very well within the job market.
From a international student perspective, that's a very important aspect. I'm sure all of you have those jitters, right? Yeah, I'm spending hundreds and thousands of Australian dollars and both time, money, and effort in studying in international universities, right? Will I get the appropriate ROI in studying in this destination? So hopefully this answers a lot of those or eliminates all of those jitters that if you are looking at a destination that gives you high ROI and perhaps the highest probability of securing a job, perhaps University of Sydney might be a great destination for you.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. Moving on, we have 400 plus study areas to design the right degree for you, whether at undergraduate level where there's more flexibility, students can pick and choose the modules or the major minor that they wish to aspire to study. We offer courses in 9 different faculties. So all major faculties are covered at the university. And the most amazing part is that, when before joining Sydney, it's been close to 4 years now. I thought it's going to be a very studious university, and students are only going to end up studying all the time. Because if you're looking at any similar league of university in India, it's only about studying, and not much to do with other things or fun, no play or fun, basically. But here, Sydney offers a lot of things that students can pursue apart from studying as well. So we have like 300 plus international partners, combine the study and travel. There are different clubs and societies, sporting facilities, all of that. So it's fairly, very lively, a lot of opportunities for students to explore. So I was talking to you about the top 28 subjects which are ranked amongst top 50 in the world. So you can see the list on your screen. So be it law, civil engineering, architecture, sports-related subject is basically your physiotherapy, occupational therapy, sports science, exercise science, accounting, finance, computer science, veterinary science, all medicine and health, or a host of subjects from the arts and social science department, very highly ranked. We're also the first law school to have started in Australia. So the first law faculty to have started in Australia was University of Sydney. Just to understand how does the study timeline work with us. So we offer typically 2 intakes in a year. So student can start the course in February or in July. So unlike in India, where most of the institutes offer the course only once a year, Western countries offer the course twice a year. February is the main intake because all courses are offered. It's main from the Australian study perspective, because Australian study cycle is Jan to December, like the academic year and the calendar year is the same. But we have good number of students from India or subcontinents joining us for the February intake as well. And the main intake from Indian student perspective or the subcontinent student perspective would be the July-August intake, because our study timeline matches the later part of the year. Australia being in the southern hemisphere, the seasonal cycle is fairly very different. So currently it's almost a winter setting in now. And so June, July, August, September is usually a winter season. And then you long summer break happening in December, January, February. So no white Christmas for Australia, like the other parts of the world. And the climate or the weather conditions are fairly very moderate. But yes, in terms of Indian standards, it's fairly very different. I was there in Australia during summers. So it used to be hot during the day, and but still like 35, 36 degrees, but it can drop down to easily around 10, 12 degrees in the night. So that's not the type of climate or the summers that we are used to back in India. Moving on to the next slide. These are the 9 facts.
Before we move on, sorry, I have a question. do you feel if we go to the previous slide, right? The the immediate intake, which I see from again speaking from purely from a student's perspective, the immediate intake is the Feb intake that is available to the student. Do you feel that now would be a right time for interested candidates to start looking forward to their application for their Feb intake?
Absolutely. We are actually open for August intake as well. Our application deadline is sometime in June. So students can still make it. We start around on the 31st of July. And so they can make it for July if they're ready with their English test, because that's the only time taking process.
So folks, this is vital information. This is key information, right? If you are looking for Australia as a destination, and if you are looking at University of Sydney as a destination, you can actually go to University of Sydney as early as the September 2023 intake, right? You don't even have to wait for the Feb 24 intake. You already have the nearest intake, which is like in 4 months, and you can actually look forward to it. Both Jayashree and iSchool Connect are there to support you with that target of yours. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
So February also the admissions are open, so you can get started. It will give you more timeline to do the entire process with more time in hand. Admissions for February or July next year is also open, but yeah, July this year also we are open. You can get started, and you should be able to make it on time and be there for the welcome week.
Absolutely.
These are the different faculties that we have in offer at the university. So typically everything is covered from international student perspective, or whatever the huge the demand high demand interest areas is. So we offer arts and social science, architecture, design and planning, business, education and social work, engineering and IT, medicine and health, music, law and science. So what we do not offer biotechnology at master's level. We do not offer fashion, hospitality, culinary, graphic design. So it's not a design school, but we do offer design courses more with regards to or a hospitality, culinary, or more vocation focused option. But rest, everything else is covered at the university. So from the typically from Indian student perspective, we've seen more interest towards architecture, business, engineering, IT, law, or sciences. These are the popular ones. So we offer typically. I'd like to a little bit of light about the Sydney student experience. They have an unparalleled choice of more than 400 areas of study. You can tailor make your degree to follow your interest. This is more viable at the undergraduate level. At postgraduate level also, we offer more broader specialization, so then students can pick and choose what they're interested in. We offer professional degrees, which means the degrees have a professional accreditation, like an engineering degree, computer science degree, or any of your medicine and health degrees, psychology courses. They're all accredited by the local governing body. We have specialist degree, which means they come in with a specialist knowledge, like a master's of data science or a bachelor's of medical science. We have combined degree. So all are, I'm just giving them some examples, like law degrees are combined degrees. So they get to do a Bachelor of Arts with a Bachelor of Law, or double degrees, which can combine two different interest areas. This is offered at both undergraduate and postgraduate level. Students gain a global perspective with over 300 international partners. There is professional accreditations in the program. An internship and industry experience is offered at more than 90% of the courses that we offer. Some courses have restrictions because of the accreditation or the the accrediting body having certain criteria. But if you're looking at, because we are ranked very high for graduate employability, we want to leverage that position and give our students an amazing experience about graduating with degrees which makes them more job ready. This is with regards to our study abroad option. So we truly believe that the students can make their world their campus. So, if that's what I say, students, that if you are studying at such a top end university in the world is your oyster, you're a global citizen. So we offer short term exchange, semester or year exchange, industry placement, or faculty specific programs. So students can choose to do any one of these activities. We offer Australia's largest mobility program, nearly 400 programs in 40 countries. We offer 300 international partners. And the best part is that 130 partner universities again feature from the top 200 world ranking. So if a student still wants to study at a top, do an exchange program at a top university, they can take that up. And this is about life at Sydney. At the university, there's several activities available, right from joining different clubs and societies at the university. There's an Indian society called Ikansh. There is a Quidditch team on campus. There's a chocolate club. There's a wine club. There's different clubs to pursue interests with regards to your course or networking opportunities. There's just for fun clubs. There is faculty related clubs. This certainly enhances your learning experience, and that's what I believe anyone from this industry will truly believe in, that it's not about investing an X amount of money to get a degree, but it's also about investing time and money and having an amazing learning experience, where you make friends for lifetime, you network with people from all over the world, and you learn not only to get a degree but to navigate through life as well. We have a Sydney Student Union. We have, University of Sydney sports and fitness facilities available. There's several events and activities, and there are cultural groups as well. And this is an important part of the learning experience, because it's not the mere degree that you're going to go and get and come back. I'm sure Weber will agree with how important it is to have to do several other things.
Jayashree, right? For most of the students, yes, academics is important, but when you are going to an international university or a study abroad destination, the entire experience matters, right? The experience of making friends, as you mentioned, winery or drama or sports or anything and everything beyond just education actually enhances your personality as individuals, and the outcome that you see yourself after 1-2 years is entirely different, right? You come outside of as a from your cocoon of just knowing things well at whatever you're comfortable with, and now turning into a new person who's now comfortable speaking to people who from different cultures, different ethnicities, all of that actually enhances the experience. And from what I saw, what I see at you mentioning about University of Sydney, Sydney offers all of those to its international diaspora.
Absolutely. Moving on to the next slide. This is also about learning outside the classroom. So we truly believe in having a good amount of industry engagement, engaging with industry leaders, so that the students' learning experience makes them more understand about what the industry requirements are. So we have a tie-up with One Tree Island Field Station. It's a research field station on the Great Barrier Reef. Students here students especially studying sustainability, environment, get to work on various topics. So it's a marine biology students. So it's a research field station. Great Barrier Reef obviously is home to huge amount of flora and fauna life, and to study about climate change, to study about marine biology and life available there, it would be an amazing experience. Our civil engineering department has a boundary layer wind tunnel available on campus. So I think only there are 4 universities in the world which has a working boundary layer wind tunnel on the campus. For students interested in music, we have the Conservatorium, which is our music building. There is opera performing spaces, access to several different types of musical instruments. People from all over the world come, musicians from all over the world coming to perform and teach. And then we have the Westmead Hospital, where students studying medicine and health courses get to have hands-on experience. They have more practical experience, and this counts towards their clinical rotations. We also have access to working with, mannequin or programmed patients. So these are AI-driven mannequins, which can help students in the initial stages of their course to gain confidence dealing with patients or to have clinical experience. And because we're the pioneers for law programs, we have the Moot Court facility where law students get to understand how they would practice, how they go through legal practice in a classroom setup. And there are moot court competitions where students from across the world, from universities such as Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Stanford, and all participate. And there's a very popular moot court competition called as Jessup Cup, which is like the World Cup or Olympics for in the mooting world. And our students have won Jessup Cup for 5 years now. And then we have the popular Taronga Zoo, which is located in Sydney City. So students studying animal bioscience, animal biology, wildlife, animal conservation get to work in a real animal conservation center. This is about our Sydney student experience, what support services are available. So there's a welcome week, which is run 2 weeks before the course start. So they'll give them oriented and get started with life at Sydney. There's career support available. So of course, assisting them with understanding how to apply for jobs, how to apply for and how to do work on your visa, on your interviews, your LinkedIn profile, and so on. CV workshops, I think, are very important because in India, we tend to have, like a movie script kind of concept for CV, but in Western countries, it's more like a one-page concept. And there is, of course, assistance with health and well-being. If you're feeling a bit too overwhelmed because you're thrown at a huge change in life, you can take up assistance. There's faith and cultural support. They celebrate different festivals all throughout the year. And there's also financial assistance for students who need any help with regards to, the financial bit of it. Our admissions criteria is fairly very simple. For undergraduate students, they can get unconditional offer or they can get admission on the basis of grade 12 marks. We accept international boards like IB or A levels. And we also accept Indian boards such as CBSE, ISC, and various Indian state boards. In case if academic condition through grade 12 is not met, because our criteria is a bit high, students can submit a SAT score, ACT score, or advanced placement score in order to get admitted. And the best part about this is that if I have a SAT score and it meets the course's criteria, and I can get an unconditional offer as early as January if the course is starting in July, because I get unconditional on the basis of SAT itself. The second bit is that we accept all boards, state boards or Indian boards or international boards. And it's not mandatory to submit SAT. It just acts as a compensating factor. Or if you've already attempted one, you can get an early unconditional offer as well. Postgraduate courses, admissions is on the basis of which university you graduated. So that university will help us determine what is the percentage requirement. But typically we need anything between 65 to 75% or 7 to 8 CGPA as a requirement. So admissions will be on the basis of your performance in bachelor's degree. And GMAT would be required for business students who do not meet the academic criteria. So we'll not reject, but if you submit a GMAT of 630 above, we will accept the same. English proficiency test-wise, it's mandatory to submit one for Australian admissions and visa perspective. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, or Pearson test of English. And tests taken within the last 2 years is typically approved. Some courses have additional requirement, which would mean, the architecture course requires architecture, portfolio. Medicine requires an interview. MBA has an interview requirement. There would be an interview or an entrance examination. So when you go onto the course page on the website, there is a admissions section which apprises you about the requirement. Application for University of Sydney is online. You can apply while you're pursuing your grade 12 or in the final year of your bachelor's, and you can avail a conditional offer. Or if you've graduated and you have done with your English language test, you can apply for an unconditional offer. Our application turnaround time could be a little bit longer. It could take around, I would say 3 to 4 weeks or 3 to 5 weeks quite easily during peak season, or else 2 to 3 weeks is the usual turnaround time.
Got it. So Jayashree, if you can go back to the previous slide, one more.
Yes.
So folks, a lot of, I'm actually seeing a lot of Q&As around the admission criteria, the eligibility criteria. So this slide, the screen is very important for all the students who are interested in actually knowing more about the admissions criteria, right? So again, recapping all that information, right? If you are interested in an undergrad program, your 12 score standard, your SATs are the foundational eligibility criteria. If you're looking for a PG program, of course, your academic scores in your bachelor's or your GMAT score, if you're applying for a business program, is important. Another important aspect, just recapping for everyone, is your IELTS, TOEFL, or your PTE examinations, right? Any of these three, if you have those test scores ready with you, you can actually start your application and apply for University of Sydney, right? And of course, if you are looking for those specialized programs such as architecture, medicine, music, visual arts, you definitely need to have your portfolio or your interview or whatever the eligibility criteria is. So make sure you take a screenshot of this slide. Of course, we'll be sharing the recording of this webinar as well with you. But yeah, keep the screenshot of this slide with you for future references. Over to you, Jayashree. Yes.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. So moving on to the most important part, we've covered what Sydney has to offer, what are the courses, what are the admissions criteria, and scholarships and funding. So we offer a wide range of financial support. So I'll just sum it up as awards and scholarships that we offer. Award is called Sydney International Student Award. It's relatively an easier financial support to get. And scholarships are categorized into the Vice Chancellor Scholarship, which is for all international students, the Sydney Scholars India Scholarship, which is only amongst Indian students, and there is faculty scholarship, sports scholarship, local scholarship, and housing scholarship. So depending on what kind of financial support a student is looking for, they can look up for the following options. I've just simplified financial support in this page now. Sydney International Student Award is established for outstanding international students from key markets. It's awarded with a university contribution of 20% of the tuition fee for the duration of the program. The prerequisite is that you should meet the criteria for the course, and you should also submit a personal statement along with your application. We ask 3 essay questions. You answer them and you'll get a 20% tuition fee support. Then we have Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship, which is awarded to exceptional international students on the basis of academic merit. This is automatically chosen on the basis of academic merit. 40 to 50 students are chosen. The value here would be 5,000 to 20,000 Australian dollars for the first year of the course. Sydney Scholars India Scholarship is only offered for August intake, application-based scholarship. Around 28 plus students are chosen for a value of 10,000 to 20,000 Australian dollars for the first year. And 2 undergraduate students are chosen for 40,000 each year of scholarship. Then we have other notable financial support such as faculty scholarships like Business School International Scholarship, Law School's Dean Scholarship, Faculty of Arts and Social Science Scholarship, MBA Scholarship, Engineering Faculty, and so on. The best part is the students will minimum get a 20% support if they are chosen for the Sydney International Student Award. In addition to that, they can club and get a higher award, adding on more from the Vice Chancellor or Sydney Scholars or other faculty scholarship. So if you're meritoriously performing well, you can get 20% plus something, or you can go back with 20%, which is fairly a good amount, because it would be around 8 to 12,000 Australian dollar each year. So if you're doing an undergraduate program, you can look in for example, I'm studying engineering. It's a 4-year degree. I get 20% each year. Will certainly cut down on the cost of my studies. Yes.
One key point, Jayashree, right? This slide actually shows how much University of Sydney values finances, or the pain of finances for the students, right? The number of scholarships that you have at University of Sydney, and the eligibility criteria, and even the percentage, right? It shows that University of Sydney takes a lot of importance and gives a lot of precedence to finances, and they understand that yes, finances can be a major pain point for students, and thus they are offering this wide range of scholarships for all international students. That's mighty impressive.
Thank you so much. So for students, like I said, we are still open for admissions for July intake. And if I'm starting my final year of my bachelor's, how do I get done? Because if my results are out by July or August, I'll not be able to make it through because I'd still be holding a conditional offer. So what we offer is a special admission process. So special admission process basically aims students to get unconditional offer on the basis of the second last semester mark sheet. So most of the Australian universities have this process in place where you gain admission into the course before graduating. So if I'm doing, say, a 4-year engineering degree, on the basis of my 7th semester results, I get unconditional offer altogether. I can accept my offer, confirm my admission, apply for my scholarship, travel to Australia, do my visas, everything can be done. And you have a timeline between August to November to submit your 8th semester mark sheet and degree completion proof. So this certainly is an advantage for students, because you can get unconditional on the basis of your 7th semester or 5th semester or 9th semester, depending on whether you're doing a 3, 4, or a 5-year degree. Then, as the university was established way back, dating back to 1850, it's an established campus. Everything is available online, on campus, and we have different types of accommodation as well. So depending on your budget or the facilities that you're eyeing for, you can decide between university residences. These are on-campus accommodation managed by the university admissions team. Then we have residential colleges. Like, in simple words, I would say they are more like hostel dormitory facility, but they're located on campus, but managed privately. And the number of your rooms available with the residential colleges is quite huge as well. And the most socially engaging. So it's like, you can see the photo of St. Andrews, where they have a huge hall. The students are just sitting, you have your dinner rooms there, you can sit, or your playrooms, you have study rooms. So it's not like that, like an accommodation where you just have to do you're inside your room all the while if you're not on campus. This is more socially engaging, and they do a lot of fun activities as well. And Sydney being a big metropolitan city, we have other independent run housing or off-campus housing or private housing in and around the campus, depending on what are you eyeing for, or whether how comfortable you are living or on campus. So this sums us about the the accommodation bit. Working in Australia, students legally on a student visa, you're above 18, can work part-time in Australia. So that gives you 24 hours per week or 48 hours for a fortnight. And during official university vacations, you can work 40 hours per week. So yes, this is an amazing opportunity for you to gain understanding about the Australian workforce, or gain some experience, or get to do some relevant work or just get some, get some money to take care of your living expenses. So working in Australia, can be considered by students as well. And this brings me to the end of my presentation. So this is a picture that was clicked during the welcome week. And this has my details as well. So if you have any queries, you can reach out, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or on my email or my phone number. I'm happy to take any questions and any closing notes that Vaibhav you would like to.
So, Jayashree, again, we have so many questions pouring in from all our students, right? And we'll shortly be taking those questions. People, please feel free to post questions in the Q&A section, and we'll be taking those questions very shortly in the limited amount of time that we have. But before we move on, Jayashree, quickly want to showcase a bit about iSchool Connect. Right, how we help students navigate their entire journey with respect to studying abroad. Okay, so students, iSchool Connect we are a study abroad admissions platform wherein we have created this entire spectrum of tools that actually helps you navigate from research till you reach your study abroad destination. All the nuances with respect to studying abroad, you can actually get help through our portal, right? I'm going to give you a quick snippet of how you can actually find more information about University of Sydney on our website as well. So you can just simply search about University of Sydney and you can get information entirely and everything about University of Sydney on my website, on the platform, including individual courses, individual information about the eligibility criteria, all and everything, and even start your application journey. Talk to our experts with respect to how you can get into some of the top universities across the globe. All right. Okay. Jayashree, we have some great questions coming in from our audience. So let me quickly pose some of those in your direction. Right. So what is the scope of data science and machine learning in Australia? If you care to answer that.
Sure. So computer science or IT industry especially is one of the huge GDP contributors and a huge industry in Australia, especially in Sydney City. So it would be amongst the top 5 highly paid jobs and high demand occupations in Australia. So the amount of IT industry base, the amount of scope that is available, especially within computer science areas such as data science, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, network distributed systems, software development obviously is a huge industry. But upcoming areas such as analytics, AI, intelligent information systems has amazing scope as well. So if you're looking at our ranking for computer sciences amongst top 30 in the world, and we offer a wide range of course choices. The best thing that I like about our postgraduate computer science courses is that it also covers techno management modules. So we don't want graduates to only have a technical outlook, but they also have techno management subjects such as project management, IT strategy, innovation. So when you grow the hierarchy, it helps you and you're not stagnant with only holding technical knowledge.
Got it. Thank you so much. So Ankita has a question, right? She's looking for PhD programs. Does University of Sydney offers PhD programs as well?
Of course, yes. So it's a public research university. So we are a part of the group of 8 universities, which is similar to how the Ivy League universities in the US. So group of 8 is 8 universities which are publicly funded or public universities which have huge amount of research ongoing. Depending on your area of interest, we have a landing page on our website, which is called Research Supervisor Connect. I'll share that link here. So this gives in very detailed information about how research program works. So we have mostly unstructured PhD. So you need to identify your research interest, go and check the university's research, reach out to the faculty and get a supervisor, and then put in an application. So we would suggest that Research Supervisor Connect would be an amazing platform for you to check through the details. This also talks to you about, what is research funding, what type of research funding is available, how do you work on your research proposal. And what is essential, I feel, is that over the past few years, I've understood is that having any research experience or publication really boosts your profile, because unfortunately, Indian degrees don't have that research backing or orientation towards research. So having any research journals published or any research publication or papers will certainly help the student.
Got it. So, Jayashree, Parth and multiple other students are asking this question, right? You're aware that a lot of Indian universities offer 3-year bachelor's programs. So, do you accept 3 years bachelor programs, or do you require a 4 years bachelor programs to be considered at University of Sydney?
Absolutely, we accept 3 years because Australia also offers a 3-year degree. So our Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, most other degrees are for 3 years. Only the engineering and certain health and medicine courses are for 4 years or above. But we accept a 3-year degree. It's only the US that is a bit particular about the 4-year degree.
Perfect. Another question, perhaps a recap of the test scores that are required. I can brief you on that. So a lot of students, again, recap. So if you're applying for your bachelor's or your master's, of course, you need to appear for your English proficiency, be it IELTS, be it TOEFL, be it PT. That's a mandate for your visa and for your application to Australian universities. And again, if you're applying for your a business program, you require your GMAT scores. Apart from that, your academic scores are well enough in order to apply to University of Sydney. I hope this was accurate, Jayashree.
Absolutely. So we do not have a prerequisite for any standardized tests like SAT or GMAT, but it just helps students to expedite your admission process. For example, if I'm attempting 12th next year, I'll get my results only by the month of April, May usually. But if I have a SAT score, I can get an early offer. Or if I score less than 12th on the basis of SAT, I will get an early offer as well.
Perfect. Okay. Another question from Nikhil. Can you provide information on how to obtain an education loan to fund my international students? So Nikhil, of course, you can reach out to iSchool Connect. We have multiple partners across India to help you secure an education loan to fund your education at University of Sydney. So that's something which is a bit easy. You can actually do that. Another question, how much CGPA, GPA in my current UG system needs to be secured? I think you answered that question. The eligibility criteria is upwards of 65%. Is that right, Jayashree?
So Australia follows a guide called as NUSA, where we've categorized Indian institutes or universities into 3 sections. So you need to go and check under which NUSA section is your institute. If it's section 1 or 2, we need 65%, not more than 4 backlogs or fails in your bachelor's. And if it's section 3, then 75%, and lesser the backlog, better. So, and depending on what grading scale you use, it will be an equivalent. So CGPA wise, we need, out of a scale of 10, then a 65 will be a 7 CGPA and a 75% will be an 8 CGPA. So you can always go and check on our website. On the course page, we have relevant information put, or reach out to iSchool Connect or me. We'll be happy to, assess individual profiles as well.
Got it. So Needham has a question, right? What are the funding opportunities for masters? I think Jayashree pretty much covered it at a wide range, right? From a minimum of 20% scholarship, you have a wide range of options to increase that scholarship amount. There are multiple other eligibility criteria that you can actually go through. We'll be, of course, sharing the recording of this session. You can, of course, get that information from iSchool Connect and the university website as well. Jayashree just shared the link on the chat, so you can actually refer to those as well. Claire has a question regarding pros and cons of joining in Feb versus July. So care to give a brief answer on that, Jayashree?
Nothing much. I mean, technically, there is no difference. These are two parallel run intakes. There's no intersection. And depending on, if you graduate and you want to get started immediately, or whether you want to get in 6 months or a year of work experience, you can decide. The only difference will be the climate. When you land in July or in February, there'll be obviously different climatic conditions. But otherwise, in terms of what the course the course will be run or the faculty offerings, there is no difference at all.
Behram Khan has an interesting question. What is your acceptance rate?
So Australia doesn't publish an acceptance rate. It's more of a concept popular in the US, because US admissions are profile centric, whereas Australian admissions are academic centric. So if you meet the condition, you should get an offer. And if you do not meet the condition, there will be certain alternative suggestions made, or it will be rejected. So we do not technically publish an acceptance rate.
Got it. Nikhil has a question. What is the scope for electrical engineers in Australia?
So if you're looking at the type of courses we offer, like from electrical to power to, we offer also courses in telecommunication. These are very strong industries. So amongst engineering, I think every industry from civil to mechanical to electrical, telecommunication, structural engineering, biomedical engineering has very good scope. I think a couple of industries which don't have much scope in Australia would be automobile, because you don't have Australian car makes. So that's logical, you don't have much industry base. But with mechanical as well, manufacturing, robotics, mechatronics has huge scope. But electrical, especially to do with power engineering or embedded systems and all of that, has really very good scope. There's some interesting websites which is available. Obviously, the Department of Home Affairs or related websites has a lot of information about how Australia is a land of opportunities. But there's also this website called seek.com, which is the official job search engine for Australian government. So you can go and check and do a little bit of research on your own to understand what jobs are available. But yes, considering that Australian doesn't have much local population and they need skilled people, that's why it's always been a very immigration friendly destination as well.
So we have a lot of questions pouring in, but perhaps the last question for today, and of course, as previously mentioned, reach out to Jayashree, reach out to iSchool Connect. If you have many more questions, we are definitely there to help you out. So this is a question from an anonymous attendee. Does work experience add as an added plus point when you're applying for masters in University of Sydney?
It's not a prerequisite. It's not a prerequisite for most of the courses unless you are applying for MBA or certain programs require. But it's an individual choice. I would say it's not a requirement. Your admissions will not be determined on the basis that a lot of students ask me, your admissions criteria is a bit high. What if I don't have the required marks, but I have work experience? Will that compensate? It doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, Australian admissions are more academic centric, but work experience, I think, has its own advantage as well. You have a little bit of understanding about the industry. If you work with an MNC, you can certainly help to leverage that position. I've studied from a good college in India. I've got some work experience, and then the Sydney degree obviously will help you go places as well.
Absolutely, this is very valuable. Cool. Thank you, Jayashree, for all those wonderful answers and all the wonderful information that you shared about Australia as a study abroad destination and University of Sydney. I was quite surprised by the level of detail, the level of work that University of Sydney is doing for the student community. One key caveat would be the 8 Australian prime ministers that I'll always remember. That was a mighty impressive fact, and apart from the 145 Olympians. So thank you so much. We had a lovely session. I'm sure this was quite insightful for all the participants who joined. Please, of course, as always, do reach out to us if you're interested in Australia, or to Jayashree if you're interested in University of Sydney and applying to University of Sydney. We are there to help you out. And yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully, we'll be seeing Jayashree in future sessions as well. And have a wonderful Monday evening. Stay good, stay healthy. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav, and thank you, iSchool Connect, for this wonderful opportunity. Have the rest of the day, a very good rest of the day. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy the Delhi climate tonight.